are getting started with a whole new unit using integers and rational numbers. So let's start talking integers and start with the definition. What is an integer? Well, an integer is a whole number from a set of all the positive and all the negative whole numbers. Every whole number, including 0. Those are integers. And today we're going to learn how to plot and compare integers. So let's start by just reading up our questions. First, we're going to draw a horizontal number line, and we're going to create a scale on our number line in order to plot a few numbers: -1, 3, 6, and 5. So first things first, I'm using the word horizontal, which means my line is going from left to right. Sometimes in our lessons, we're going to use vertical lines going up and down. This one is just going left to right. Our question asks about our scale. And when I think of scale, I think, how are our numbers counting? Like, how do we count? Are we counting by ones? Are we counting by twos or by threes? How are we going in our numbers? So we're going to think about that, and we're going to plot these numbers. Looking at our numbers, we have negatives and we have positives. So I'm going to put a little 0 in the middle, and I'm going to try and figure out first, how do I get all the way to +6? All right, so can I reach there if I count by ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can do it if I count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's +6. So because my scale was by ones, I have to be consistent. I can't go by ones and then by threes and then by fours. I can't change up my scale. So if I counted by ones with the positives, I'm going to count by ones with the negatives. And I'm going to go to -5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's 5. Now notice I didn't say -1, -2, but I was counting in that direction. I knew they were negative. Okay, so here are my first two values. I have +6, -5. I need to actually plot -1. So I'm going to start from 0 and I'm going to count. Here it is, -1. -1. And I also want to have 3. So I'm going to count from 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put +3. Here are our plotted values. Things to know when we're working on a number line. Location tells us which number is greater. And the way I know is that from 0, as I continue to count towards the right, my numbers get bigger and bigger. My greatest numbers are to the right. And if I go from 0 towards the left, the further left I go, the smaller the numbers go. So I'm going to use that positive and negative to help me out. Remember, on the right side, we have a positive sign. On the left side, we have a negative sign. It also tells me my greater numbers to the right, my smaller numbers to the left. So using that, here's our first question. Which integer is greatest, and how do we know? So I'm just going to look which one is furthest to the right, and it is 6. So my greatest integer is 6. Six is the greatest integer because it's located furthest to the right. And how do we know which one is the least? I'm going to look towards the left. And all the way on the left, we have -5. So -5 is the smallest because it's located furthest to the left. Jot this down into your notes at the same time. And in both cases, I'm talking about on the number line. Awesome. So let's look at the bottom part. We want to identify which of these numbers is not an integer. Remember, our integers are all the whole numbers, positive and negative and 0. So which of these are not whole numbers? That's what we're looking for, not whole numbers. And we see two of them. We have 13 and 5/10, and 2 and 2/5. I'm going to write in a full sentence are not integers because they are not whole numbers. And we know that because we have a decimal and we have a fractional part to it. So they are not whole numbers. They have other parts to them that are less than 1. So hit pause for a second so you can jot this down into your notes before we get to our second practice problem. Okay, here we go. We are going to complete inequality statements below using a number line to guide our thinking. So we're going to use number lines here to figure out our thinking. And because these are inequalities, that means we are not going to use an equal sign. We're either going to use this symbol or this symbol, the greater than symbol or the less than symbol. If you're not sure which is which, you can actually go to one of our other videos which talks about how to actually say the symbols correctly. So let's use a number line for these. I have 3 different numbers, so I'm going to draw 3 different number lines. And remember, for each number line, the greater number is going to be on the right and the smaller is going to be on the left. I'm going to start with the first one, 4 and -4. Well, 1 is a positive. That's 4, and -4 is a negative. So I know it's on this side. So these are pretty easy. If you're not sure how to locate them, you could just draw the line and just do some counting for yourself. But this one was pretty easy. So looking at our numbers, I know that the greater number is always to the right. So look at our statement. I use that symbol there because it helps me write a true statement. It also tells me which is the bigger number. It tells me in this case that 4 is the bigger number. So here's my sentence. -4 is less than +4. That's a true statement. I can write one more true statement if I just reversed my 2 values. +4 is greater than -4. And I write both because I want to make sure that I'm matching what they're looking for here. And my first number is 4. First number is 4. And because I know that 4 is the bigger number, I'm going to draw my symbol here. I'm going to use the greater than symbol. 4 is greater than -4. And if you're not sure and that happens, sometimes I have kids write both of these statements and they just think which is the one that matches. Well, this is the one that starts with a 4, so I'm going to rewrite this sentence there. If you need to do that, do it. Take the extra step. It's better to be sure and confident and take that extra effort than to go quick and just hope that you get the right answer. That's my thinking with it. All right, let's go to the next one, and we have a -3 and a -6. They're both negative numbers. So I'm going to put my 0 here on the right, and if you want, you can just do some counting down. If you were counting from 0, which number would you reach first? Well, you would say the number 3 first, -3. 1, 2, I would say -3 before I said -6. So that's the first number I'm going to write. I'm going to write -6 here. And because of our rule, remember, we know that the largest number is always to the right. So out of these 2 values, the -3 is the greater number. I'm going to put this down as well here. So here's my first statement. -6 is less than -3. I can see it. I know this is true. But when I'm looking up here, if I were to put that symbol, it would mean that the -6 is greater. So remember, if you get stuck, you can write both sentences down. -3, just remember that your symbol has to be open towards the greater number. Okay? And that's just another way of remembering which symbol to use. All right, so we're really using 2 supports here, a number line, and we're also writing down 2 true statements as another visual to see which is greater. And let's go to the last one. We have -21 and negative 13. So they're both negative, meaning they're both to the left of 0. Which one am I going to say first as I'm counting down? I would say negative 13 first before negative 21. So which is the greater number? Well, in this case, negative 13 is still the greater number. It's the furthest to the right. So I want to make sure we have that statement there as the bigger number. Negative 21 is less than negative 13. And just in case, I can write the other true statement, negative 13 is greater than negative 21. So which one matches? I'm writing the sentence that starts with negative 21, so I'm going to use that statement. That same symbol. Negative 21 is less than negative 13. Now, the reason we're doing this is because when we look at those numbers, we may think 21 is bigger than 13. But remember, it is about its location on the number line. So you can use a number line to help guide your thinking, and we can use our inequality statements to make sure that it matches the number line itself. Hit pause and jot this down in your notes. And we'll jump right into your mid-lesson assessment. I'll see you in the next lesson, Math Marbles. Take care.